just continue to touch up on our details, getting things back, how we had it before we left the break, touching up on our defense, our level of communication, ability to pressure the basketball without fouling, and then, our continued effort to rebound the basketball the right way.
Is there a challenge in bringing guys back from the break? I mean, I'm sure you've got like kind of teacher's mentality of like, okay, guys have been off, we gotta reteach a little bit, get back in the swing.
Well, you want to ramp it all the way up, but you also know that these guys, the recovery is so important for us. We want to play hard, but be able to rest and recover well as well. So I think that's the tricky balance with all of it. But these guys are pros. They've done something during the break, enough to keep their bodies moving, and knowing what we have coming down the backstretch of these 27 games.
What did you make of the way you guys ended going into the break?
Well, I mean, being able to take care of home court, I thought was very important for us. I mean, we dropped that Miami game, and the message to the team was make sure we take care of home. I think going 3-1 at home is something that the guys were happy that we were able to do. Again, but being able to play to our standard of the way we approach every single game.
What do you think makes winning on the road so challenging?
I mean, you're going into different environments. You don't have the luxury of the home crowd, the energy of your building. But I also think that it's actually great for our team because it brings us together. There's a camaraderie, there's a chemistry, knowing that it's us against them. And I think it's great for a young group to understand and work on winning on the road.
Jamal, you've referred to this a couple of times, but why do your guys like each other so much?
I really do believe they're just a selfless group. They've all played together or against each other at one point or another, whether that was in high school or a moment of college. But they're all just great young men as well. They care about doing the right thing by not just themselves, but the people around them. And I think that goes back to one, how they were raised. Their parents have done a fantastic job. Their coaches that they've had prior to us have done a fantastic job with them, understanding who they are and what they are, and they understand what it means to want and desire to win. And in doing that, it means you have to sacrifice a little bit of, what you think your individual goal is for the greater good of the team. And you have got each individual here really is about that and that way of being.
At the same time, though, there are a lot of teams that have a lot of really good people in the league. I mean, the league's filled with really good people.
Absolutely.
But not every team has what this team has in terms of people actually genuinely rooting for each other.
Again, you have to give so much credit to Jeff and his group for the way in which they brought in the right type of people, the right type of individuals that their character is at a high level. We say it a ton, but being champions and winners, not just on the court, but off the court as well. I mean, you think about the things that this group and this organization does in the community. Each one of these guys has their own foundation or whatever it is that they're trying to give back, and that says a lot because it's not just about the court. It's about pouring in and filling up each guy with the right information, the right care, the right attention. I think that's what this group is.
It's the NBA, professional basketball. It's always go time. But after the All-Star break, is there a little more emphasis on the other part?
Well, I think being able to focus and hit home on the small, minor details of what you need to accomplish to be successful. Knowing you're on the backstretch of it, yes. But again, for our group, it's more important that we focus on one game at a time and break it down into small segments, but not trying to look at the 27th game, just looking at game number 1, which is going to be Cleveland tomorrow.
When you're looking at this team, there's not a lot of playoff experience. There's not a lot of guys who've been kind of through a late season playoff chase.
Yeah.
How do you sort of manage those expectations, or manage that experience for them, or that lack of experience for them as these games start to be in?
Well, whether you're the regular season or you're in the playoffs, I think it always comes down to staying engaged in the moment and focusing on the things that you can control, focusing on the minor details. And with all these teams, it becomes a level, the physicality turns up, the attention to detail turns up. So that's what you concentrate on as a group, because those are things you can't control. And that's what we work on, daily. And having these guys understand the lines and levels of communication that they have to have in each of these little pieces transfers in the regular season and in the playoffs. It just turns up to a different level there.
Before the break, I asked Jalen about his improved 3-point shooting, and he mentioned that he feels like it's helped him with his pacing on the court, and that opens things up. Have you noticed that? In terms
Well, I'm
of his-
smiling right now because he's behind camera number 2. And yes, it has helped his pace a ton. His ability to knock shots down and know that teams have to close out on him a certain way allows him to read the game differently. And I think he's done a great job of that, knowing when to push the pace in transition versus when to, settle down and get our ball moving from side to side. He's done a tremendous job of that.
Everyone make it through the 2 days of practice. Okay, anything you want?
Yes, we're good to go. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
How was your All-Star break?
It was great. It was great. Much needed. Just coming back feeling fresh, rejuvenated. I was telling the boys just excited to get back hooping, get down this little end stretch. Yesterday I was watching straight just like playoff basketball highlights, games, people's highlights, just like what that moment looks like, all of that. Because realistically, that's what we're aiming for, that's where we're at. So just got me really excited, about this last stretch, being home, going through this with the boys and getting ready to compete.
One of the teams, probably in the playoff mix is Cleveland. You'll get them right out of the gate. What are some of the takeaways from those matchups you've had with them this season and some of the challenges they present?
I think they've executed really well. It's been hard to kind of speed them up and, force them into turnovers and things like that. They're always playing solid and then physical on the defensive end. Every time, we play Cleveland so far, that's all I remember is just a physical basketball game. So, excited to see them. I think it'll be good for us, to kind of set the tone, for this, for these last 27 games. Not only for what playoff basketball looks like, but for what we want to do and build, and gain momentum.
It's the NBA. You guys are professionals. It's always go time. There's a little extra emphasis on the ball back.
You can feel it. I think just with the attention to detail, everyone's energy is really focused and directed towards hoop right now. I think we talked about it this morning, just how, you get to this point of the season, it's about who does, the easy and the little things at a high level, who does them better. And that all comes with attention to detail, from watching film, paying a little bit extra attention, really just kind of being fully present in between these lines. So I think it's definitely heightened up a little bit. I can feel it, but it gets me excited. I think, that's what every competitor, athlete wants to play for.
You said you were watching playoff basketball. What were you watching? Was there a specific series? And what did you take away from that?
Bouncing around, I watched Kobe's 2010 playoff highlights. I watched Kyrie's 2016. I watched the Warriors' 2016 run. Just kind of getting a feel, looking for that environment. Seeing the energy, seeing how important each possession is. You know what I'm saying? And that type of feel. Just watching this get excited. You know what I'm saying? I haven't played in it yet. I played at the highest level everywhere else I've been, except for here. So really looking forward to it, and getting excited.
With the team's inexperience in that layer, like that means for almost none of you, except for 4 of you guys, you've never played playoffs, never been in this kind of playoff case. How do you prepare for the challenge that's going to bring and the intensity that's going to bring?
I think most importantly is mentally. I think physically, your body's going to kind of go as your mind, says it is. So preparing mentally, making sure that, you're locked in every possession. We're not second guessing anything. We know we're running. We know what they're running. We're able to call out sets, over-communicate, and be fully present mentally, and then our bodies, kind of take over, So, but yeah, just, watching different things, talking to guys, me and G have been communicating a bit more and just kind of getting ready and, him sharing some of his knowledge. He's been in some huge, some really important playoff series and games. So, really just trying to gain as much knowledge from him as possible. But I think everybody's excited. Everybody's talking.
Jalen, why do you think your team likes each other as much as it does? That there's this kind of that a lot of other teams don't seem to have?
I think we're all just young. We're in the same position. Me, AB, you talk about all the young fellas here, Cole, all kind of that same age group, and then you have Kel, Wendell, Gary, all those guys who are in that same age bracket. And then our vet, Grandpa, is one of the coolest people, that I've encountered. So I think everyone just has, a good vibe, a good spirit. Everybody wants to win, over our individual accomplishments. And I think that's a good recipe for that. Off the court, we gel, we vibe, we talk, we can laugh, but we can also lock in.
Isn't it tough to build that and to have that when this is, in addition to being about more than a business, is also a business?
It definitely can, and I think that complicates things. And I mean, you see it a lot, just in terms of, how guys get along, different locker rooms, some speak, different pressures from the team, from the media, all that. But we all just, genuinely enjoy being around each other. We were together when we weren't winning, So we had to, find a way to smile and laugh and have a good time. And now that we are winning, we kind of have both sides of that, where we can be competitive, get better and continue to grind out here on the basketball court. So, I just think it speaks a lot about who is in the locker room, who is on the staff and in the front office, because that's something that they've helped curate.
What do you make of that closing lineup with you and Jonathan out there, and obviously Paolo and Bonds and Wendell? What do you think of that closing lineup?
It's been fun. Great playing with those guys. Length all over the floor. In a situation where I'm the smallest, technically that's on the court. I think that's a good thing for us. So I think it just gives us a lot of versatility. We're starting to gel, and we're figuring out each other's rhythm, spacing, where we all want to be at. So I think that's only going to get better. But I think our ability to adapt, have any five out there at the end of the game, to adjust accordingly, for defense, offense, who's got the hot hand, whatever it may be. I think that's a superpower for us.
You said the last game against New York. I know with the break, getting some extended time off. How important was that for you to get as you get ready for this stretch run?
It was really important. Not only physically, just to let the body reset, let it heal, but mentally, to reset, to get away for a couple of days. I had to think about who, kind of be able to reset the mental now to where, almost feels like I told him yesterday, it feels like first day at school again. It kind of feels like the start of a new season almost. So very excited. Break as well. Got a good laugh, spent some time with my people. But now I'm excited to get back to work.
Well, we're grateful for the time.
Thank you guys.
Big time.
Always. Appreciate it.